what we have to do these handlebars is we have to make a 3D sketch, and the 3D sketch will then get swept by circles for the profile, and then we'll have handlebars. When you draw in 3D, it gets difficult because you're drawing on the X, Y, and Z axes all inside the same sketch, whereas before we would only draw on 2 axes. To get to a 3D sketch, you have to click the drop down arrow below the sketch tab and select 3D sketch, and then you'll use the line tool. And you can see where my pencil on my cursor there, it has an X and a Y. To draw the handlebars, we're going to need to press the tab key, and every time I press the tab key, it changes which axes are going to be drawn on, and we want to draw on the Z and X axes. So the first line, when you draw, you want to click on the origin, hold down the line button, and then release the line button, and then that way you only draw one line segment. And you can see next to my cursor there's a little yellow box, and I know you guys can't see this from where you're sitting, but inside that little yellow box there's an X, and that lets me know that I'm drawing this line perfectly on the X axis. When you release the mouse button, then it doesn't continue the line command, and so then you'll click down on that endpoint that you just started on, and then you will draw another line off at an angle, but it'll still be along the Z and the X axes. And the next thing we're going to do is do a center line, but the center line is going to be along the Z axis. So when I drew that, there was a little yellow box there that had a Z in it that let me know that I was drawing that center line on the Z axis. I'm going to go through and I'm going to smart dimension these, and that can get kind of tricky because you need to make sure that you select the correct objects when you smart dimension these. So the first smart dimension I'm going to put in is the 50. And actually I got to change this to mmgs first because this is in metric. And this is going to be 50 millimeters. The next dimension I'm going to put in, I'm going to select the line, and then I'm going to select this endpoint, and that's going to be 20. And then I'm going to select the center line, not the end point, but the center line. And then I'm going to select the end point of this line, and I'm going to set that to 210. Okay, so that's the first part of that sketch. Now we're going to draw some more lines. This time we want to draw along the Y and the Z axes. So I'm going to click and I'm going to draw a line that goes out along the what am I drawing? Oh, I'm on the there we go. YZ along the Z axis. And I'm going to draw another line that goes straight down along the Y axis, and again there's that little yellow square there that tells me I'm drawing it along the Y axis, and then I'm going to draw a line back along the Z axis. I'm going to go ahead and put in some more smart dimensions here. So this will be 70. This will be 140. And this will be 170. Okay, so there's my sketch. It doesn't get fully defined. It stays blue. So if it's black, if it's not black, that's fine. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in fillets. So I'm going to use the fillet in the sketch tab. We usually only use the fillet feature because using the fillet sketch tab is more difficult to change if you have to do that in the future. But for this, we have to use the sketch tab fillet. We're going to select entities to fillet, and what we're going to do is we're going to keep the corners constrained. We need to make sure that we have that box checked, keep corners constrained. And I'm going to set our first fillet to 100. Then to do the next fillet, watch what happens when I click this corner. I get an error message that says the fillet cannot be added because the specified radius would eliminate one of the elements. That's saying that putting in a 100 millimeter radius here would delete this 70 millimeter line. So it's not a problem. It's just I need to put in the actual fillet size for that, which is 30, and then it won't be a problem. But because I did the last fillet I did, it was 100 millimeter, it automatically puts in 100 millimeter until I change it. And so you put in the correct one, hit the green check mark. Then you go to the next one. This next one's 40. Green check mark. And then the next fillet is going to be 70. Green check mark. And then I'm done. Alright, so there's my sketch. And then after I do this, it's just a matter of doing a sweep. So I'm going to do a sketch. I'm going to do it on the right plane. Just draw it on the origin because that's where we started. This will be 25.4. Does anybody know what 25.4 equals in inches? 25.4 millimeters. What does that equal in an inch? 1 inch. 25.4 millimeters per inch. It's a good fact to know. Okay, after you draw those, hit the purple arrow, Features tab, Sweep Boss Base. Sketch 1 is going to be your profile. Your path is going to be the 3D sketch. So there's half the handlebars. Then we have to mirror them to the other side. So Features tab, Mirror. Mirror face plane is going to be the right plane. Features to mirror, Sweep 1. Boom, there's the handlebars. And then we'll change the material for the handlebars. 6061, which is an aluminum alloy. Apply, close, and there's our handlebars. Alright, somebody call up Lance Armstrong and tell him we got a new design. And what we'll do is we'll calculate the mass of the handlebars just to double check it. Since our sketch isn't completely fully defined, there may be some variation here. I'm getting a mass of 221.23 grams, which is exactly what the book says. But if we were to distort our blue lines, drag them around a little bit, that mass would probably change slightly. Okay, so that's how you draw those handlebars. And I'll post this video on YouTube as well.